Not long after completing the Castle of Cagliostro, Hayao Miyazaki received a visit from the editors of Animage magazine, who wanted to produce an article about his work. During these talks, Miyazaki showed the team sketches for new projects, including a floating island inhabited by robots and Yara, Queen of the Valley of the Wind. In 1981, Animage presented Miyazaki's ideas for feature films to its parent company, Tokuma Shoten. All of them were flatly dismissed, because the idea of producing an original full-length feature film not based on a popular book or comic series was, at the time, almost unheard of. Fortunately, all was not lost for the work-starved Miyazaki. Animage suggested that he produce a manga from his original concepts for them. Miyazaki agreed, but under 3 preconditions. 1, that the comic series should be of his own creation. 2, that he maintain the rights to suspend or cancel it whenever film work came up. And 3, the manga wouldn't be turned into an animated film. With these terms accepted, Miyazaki crafted an imaginative tale about a princess in a post-apocalyptic world. It was known as Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. The serial was published in every monthly issue of Animage, and in no time it attained immense popularity with readers. Before long, demand for an animated version was building. Animage approached Miyazaki once again, this time to suggest making only a 15-minute short film. Miyazaki, who hadn't wanted to create a long manga that would be compressed to a short anime, suggested an hour-long video instead. In the end, Tokuma came to the solution Miyazaki had been waiting for. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind would be made as a full-length feature film. Signing on as screenwriter and director, Miyazaki soon found himself bombarded with difficulties. For one, he could not handle everything himself. Also, Tokuma was a print publisher with no studio facilities to produce animation. To help solve his problems, Miyazaki chose Isao Takahata to serve as the film's executive producer. Takahata's tenacity, determination, and problem-solving abilities all made his contribution to the project incalculable. Furthermore, they selected a production studio to handle the animation, Topcraft, best known for work on Rankin-Bass features such as The Hobbit and The Last Unicorn. The studio's own Toru Hara, who signed on as the movie's producer, had been a longtime friend of Miyazaki and Takahata. And so, within a production period of barely 9 months and a budget of $1 million, the animated film of Nausicaa was completed. It premiered in theaters on March 11th, 1984. Nearly 1 million people in Japan flocked to see the movie, and made it not only a major box office hit, but an instant cult classic as well. Adding to the success of the film, Nausicaa showed up on the Japanese Animage polls as favorite anime heroine. The roots of inspiration for Hayao Miyazaki's imaginative sci-fi drama date back to his readings as a child and young man. One of the stories Miyazaki loved as a boy was a traditional Japanese folk tale, The Princess Who Loved Insects, which involved a medieval princess and her lifelong fascination with insects. Years later, while browsing through Bernard Evsland's Dictionary of Grecian Myths, Miyazaki encountered the Phaeacian princess Nausicaa, who rescued Odysseus in Homer's epic, The Odyssey. Miyazaki fused these two heroines from different literature stories together to form his compassionate protagonist, Nausicaa. Likewise, the concept for the toxic jungle was based on Japanese historical and scientific writings into which Miyazaki had dipped over the years. His wide reading of history, sociology, and politics all played a part in the creation of Nausicaa's home kingdom, as well as the social and political pressures of the world around it. Many of Japan's most talented animators participated in the production of the movie version of Nausicaa. One particular artist named Hideaki Anno was responsible for the climactic sequence with the giant warrior. The animator would later find work at another animation studio, Gainax, and, more than 5 years later, create a character who would challenge Nausicaa's position in the Japanese Animage polls for favorite heroine, a dark-skinned, deeply tormented acrobat called Nadia. One other major contribution to the production of Nausicaa was its haunting score, provided by experimental musician Joe Hisaishi. Hisaishi's previous credits include compositions of minimalist music, isolated notes continually repeated, as well as soundtracks for other animated and live-action films. But his music for Nausicaa began an unbroken collaboration between him and Miyazaki. Hisaishi would go on to underscore all of Miyazaki's later projects. The manga version of Nausicaa diverges from the movie in many ways. For example, in the graphic novels, Nausicaa and Kushana become allies, and the army responsible for causing the Yom Stampede are from the Dorok Empire instead of the Kingdom of Pejite. In addition, many other themes from the manga are less complex and are not developed in the movie because of the differences in the media. Some critical viewers have panned Miyazaki's movie version for not being faithful to his original source material. The tear-jerking finale where Nausicaa sacrifices herself was conceived only for the movie. At the time, the manga had not yet been finished. While audiences and critics were moved by the ending, Miyazaki was reportedly dissatisfied. The reason is because this sequence has strong religious undertones, which wasn't what Miyazaki intended at all. He has stated that he did not wish to explain the world based on a god, perhaps due to his background in Marxism. Even after completing Nausicaa the movie, Miyazaki continued working on the manga series for a total of 13 years, occasionally setting it aside for other film projects.